Welcome to the Chris and Lee Circus.
We're a circus now?
This is my circus. These are my monkeys.
There are many monkeys like it, but these ones are mine.
My monkeys.
Where's that come from?
Oh, that's Full Metal Jacket.
You are good.
All right, everyone, you know the routine. The routine is ask us home loan questions, mortgage questions, buying houses, buying second houses, investment properties, programs. What credit score do you need? What down payment do you need? Will my scenario work? Loan officers, give us scenarios, because when we answer these questions, we help the world.
The world, wide.
Yeah, you like it. I know you like it.
So there's a lot going on. What's the rate? What are the rates coming up today?
Dang, man, those are the questions that no one
coming in
wants
hot.
answers
We're
to.
coming in hot today.
No one wants to know
Knowing
that.
what the rates are. We want to know what the rates
Do you
are.
guys really want to know what the rates are?
We do. They do. That's
they?
why they tune in. They tune in to buy a house. They want to know what's happening.
No, they tune in for our entertainment.
You think so? I think they want to know that the 15 years at 6%. 6%?
Hmm.
What?
What's that mean?
6%.
What's that even mean?
That means if you got a 15-year mortgage and you met the requirements that New American Funding is putting on the website, your interest rate would be 6%.
What? Connor Amato in the house.
6. What's up, Connor? What's up? Okay, a lot of stuff going on.
Is there really a lot of stuff going on?
Okay, so we're getting this a lot. I don't know if we should wait till more people show up because this is kind of very important.
Do they miss out?
You think so?
If they're late, they're
All right,
late.
if they're late, they're late. They're late, they're late. They're not here, they're not here.
Connor
So,
will remind them.
we keep getting this, hey, my impound account had a shortage. And I've had to deal with a handful of these in the last week. How about you?
Yeah, it happens a lot.
So the impound account, and they're like, okay, what is an impound account? And how did I have a shortage? I thought you said this was a fixed rate 30-year mortgage. And I say, yeah, it is a fixed rate 30-year mortgage. And what won't change is the principal and interest that you pay. That won't change. But what will change is the property taxes and insurance. Because every year property taxes go up and every year insurance goes up. Well, we've had situations where people are like, hey, you know what? I'm going to grab this insurance to get the house. And they grab it and they say it's $81 a month, okay? So they grab that one piece, that insurance policy, and they get the house. All right, cool. And then 2 months in, they're like, hey, I think I'm switching to Farmers or whatever their brand is. And they're like, and because I have the home policy and this policy and that policy and all this, and that's not $81 a month anymore. That's $112 a month. Well, if they didn't notify the lender and it all didn't get solved correctly with all the numbers, then there's a discrepancy in there. And when the account balances out, when the bank goes in and says, hey, listen, you don't have enough money to pay, so don't worry about it. We're going to pay it. But we're not paying it out of our pocket. We're paying it out of your pocket. But we'll give you a couple choices. Here's choice number one. Choice number one, you can just catch up and you owe us, call it $450. You owe us $450. Choice number two, I can increase your monthly payment to this amount in order to cover the negative $450 plus the ongoing problem that you have moving forward. That's an account discrepancy. How big have you seen those discrepancies?
So I'm getting into the thousands.
Like
thousands per year.
What? How do you get that
Thousands
deep
per
into
year.
it?
Well, if you change, okay, here's a good one. So if you get in with a bare bones minimum insurance policy, okay, just you want the cheapest, whatever, and then a year goes by, you start buying furniture and you start, getting nice stuff for your kids, and you're like, wow, maybe if something did happen to this house, like burn down, I want the best coverage. So you get a more comprehensive package. That costs more per month, and yes, it'll be part of your impound. But if you don't notify your lender right away, they're going to have you catch up, like he's saying. But they can actually make the adjustment immediately if you just contact them and send them your policy. Or, same thing with the taxes. I mean, in some areas, taxes are jumping pretty high. I mean, the state of the economy is not so great. And guess how they make up the difference? Tax dollars!
Yeah.
Which means property taxes could be going up. So there's a lot of those. We got some questions already happening.
Connor Motto says, what's the difference in rates? FHA versus FHA Streamline. Is the rate different? Ooh, we're going to differ on this one, I think.
Yeah, we are.
I think we're going to differ. So the static bullshit answer is no, they're the exact same. But the depth answer of having done these, they're a little bit different. Not a lot different, but a little bit different. Here's why. Because if you go straight forward for an FHA loan, they need to know that you can actually pay this. So they scrutinize your situation way deeper. They want to know, do you really make the income? We go through verification of employment. We have to average income. There's a lot of things that we have to do in order to make sure do you have the right amount of down payment? How's your FICO score? How's everything going? Okay, cool. So now we've scrutinized you. And even with the scrutiny, we need to be able to make some money. So we insure it with something called UFMIP, which is 1.75% upfront mortgage insurance premium. And then MI, which if you put 3.5% down is 0.55, okay? So UFMIP and MI go in there, okay? So these are insurances for the lender. Now, in the event that we're going FHA Streamline, you have to have already had that loan for, I think, a minimum of 1 year, or maybe it's 7 months. Don't quote me on that, but we'll get to that. But a Streamline, by definition, you do not get cash out. You do not in any way better yourself other than a lower monthly payment. And in order to do that, you have to have perfect on-time payments at least for the last 12 months. And because of that, FHA will give you a little bit better, more favorable pricing in the pricing engine. So FHA Streamline will be a little bit better than a standard FHA. What say you?
I'm going to agree with that. Plus, it's a different process. I mean, in order to do a Streamline, you have to already have an FHA loan, okay? Doing an FHA Streamline. So when you're saying the difference between FHA and an FHA Streamline, there are two different times that you're actually going to do them. So you can't enter into a house with a Streamline. You have to have the existing Streamline and then do it. And yes, it will be a better situation on your payment because you can't just do a Streamline. You have to meet the test. We have to fill out this form, make sure that you meet the math test, that you're going to have the right amount of savings, and then the Streamline can happen. So if you're doing a Streamline or have gotten a Streamline, it means that you are in a better situation financially with your mortgage payment.
And there's a net tangible value test. That's actually the name of the test for both Streamline and VA IRRRLs. The net tangible value says, okay, this refinance is going to cost me X. I must have recouped this cost within a certain period of time, or else I do not qualify for this Streamline or IRRRL. So there's a net tangible value test that has to go in there.
Yeah, Titani says, can the realtor, is the realtor able to get background on a property? At this point, I feel like I'm the realtor, and this happens all the time when the client is actually feeling like they're doing more work and research on things than the agent. And that's why Lee always says, you need a badass realtor. You can't just pick any geek off the street. I wouldn't recommend always using your best friend because they got a license. A license means nothing. Experience means everything. So, can they get background on the property, Lee?
Yeah, a little bit. First of all, a lot of things are public record. So you can go to public record, but your realtor should do this. And during the natural inspection times, there's going to be times where you hire. Don't skip the property inspection. Never skip.
Not
the
even
property
on a
inspection.
new property.
Never skip the property inspection. Why? Because if there's a history, that property inspector, he does this for a living. He's going to be able to find it faster than you are. And you won't know where to look. Like, for instance, this happens a lot. Though somebody's walking through the rooms and they're like, hey, look at that roof. It's nice and white. Yeah, that's a problem. Well, wait a minute. Why is that a problem? Because it's too white. What do you mean it's too white? Well, the rest of the ceilings were painted and they've all kind of faded over the years, but that one's perfectly white. So what does that mean? Oh, that could mean we had a leak. And we had that leak repaired, but for some reason they're not telling us about it. What? Now, you see the color difference in the paint? That's because that's newer paint. And that means somebody fixed something. And that's not necessarily bad, but if they're not telling you they fixed it, they might have a roof leak that they just repaired the ceiling on and, not my problem anymore. I sold it. So those are the kind of things that people look for. They're like, hey, see that corner right there on the wall right there? Yeah. See that crack right on the corner? You're like, yeah, wall's cracked. That's how things happen. No, that's a foundation shift. Wait, what? Foundation shift. And why did it crack right at the corner? Because that's how it's designed. Cracks right at the corner. And if you don't know to look for it, you have no idea. And then boom, you're in trouble. You need a good realtor. Never skip the property inspection.
Yeah, and by luck, we have Karen DeZala on the feed. What's up, Karen DeZala?
KDZ, one of my favorites.
So the question was, Karen, is the realtor able to get background on the property? So in addition to getting a property inspection and all that stuff, is there anything else a great agent like yourself can do to help find a good property for someone? So put it in the chat, Karen. Let's see what you come up with to help all the buyers across the world. Wanda, thank you for the love. Jazz, Cam is mom. Thank you for the love. Jackson, I haven't seen you in a long time, man. Y'all ever feel like getting out of the industry? Also, what's up?
Jackson, only 2 times I feel like getting out of the industry. In the morning and in the night. I'm just kidding. It's a tough time. If we wanted out, we would have gotten out. There's a lot of people who got forced out. There's a lot of people who were making $300,000-$400,000 or loan officers that were making $300,000 or $400,000 a year 2 years ago. They're selling solar today. I know them, like personally by name. So there's a lot of these people. Do I feel like getting out? I feel it's a bad industry. But when we help people and we actually get them into the house, it's a good industry. It's a really good industry. And the truth is, these tough times weed out the weak. And when it gets better, for a while, the people that stayed, the OGs, they're going to make a lot of money.
Yeah. La Monica, 2 of my faves. You're our fave.
What the? Wait, back up.
Know that.
That's not. Maybe, is that me?
You're confused, man.
Yeah, right above that, you see that?
Yeah, you joined.
Oh, yeah, okay.
You're a joiner.
All right.
Yeah, all right. So, Dan DeMan, thoughts on bank statement loans?
Dan DeMan, if you're brand new and you're getting your first house, bank statement's not the one I would go for. I would go for first FHA or conventional, depending on your credit score. If you have an 800 or better credit score, conventional beats FHA all day, every day.
Yeah.
But if you got a 620 to call it 750-ish credit score, FHA is a good one. Bank statement is a very unique program. And it's unique because you have to show that you made a lot of money in your bank statements for the last 12 months consistently. And if I can prove that you've made a lot in your bank statement for the last 12 months consistently, it's a good program, but your interest rate isn't going to be near what it would be Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, FHA, VA, USA. Nowhere near that. Bank, it's going to be a higher interest rate. So if you're an experienced investor slash buyer slash earner, business owner, and you know exactly what you're doing and you're okay with that higher interest rate and the higher bars that you have to jump through, it's a good program. Not for everybody, though.
Yeah, I agree. If you can go traditional, go traditional. But if not, let's look into it. Joel Caballeros.
Oh, dude, he broke out the Spanish. Orale,
I love it. Creation clause. A friend found out that someone died in the house and she was going to buy, and she canceled escrow. Yeah, it has to be disclosed within a certain amount of time.
I think it's 3 years. We got realtors on the feed that we've closed deals with. Not 1, not 2. So many deals we can't even count. But I think it's 3 years. By the way, he does have a real estate license. Do you?
Not anymore.
You can't let it go.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, okay. I have a real estate license.
I'm grown up. I can do whatever I want.
You can do whatever you want. I also have an MLS license. Mine is 944254. His is
1066958.
We do that because the law says we have to, and I think it's 3 years.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure.
Karina, what can you tell us about the new pay for real estate agents?
Karina, if you're a real estate agent, you're in turmoil. Not really. So here's what happens. Listen. So, Karina, pay attention to this because it's going to work itself out. But here's what it is. So you got a bucket of water, right? And that bucket of water is a $500,000 house. And out of that bucket of water, a scoopful pays the buyer's agent. Call that 3%. And a scoopful pays the seller's agent. Call that 3%. All right, cool. At the end of the day, it's 2 scoopfuls, right? Now, after this whole lawsuit, you pay a whole bunch of attorneys, a bunch of people say, oh, I was in the wrong, and then everything gets settled. Now you got a bucket of water, and you're going to have to pay the buyer's agent, and you're going to have to pay the seller's agent. Everybody's still going to get paid. The market's still going to be there. Fair market value, still going to be fair market value. There's going to be a little bit of turbulence as we figure out, how do we pay these people? Oh my God, should I sign a buyer's agreement? Oh my God. All of these things for good, experienced realtors already exist. They're already in place. There's only one situation where I see it's going to be a hiccup. Only one. VA loans. Because the VA loan says that the buyer cannot pay the realtor. Say, what? Yeah, that's actually in the guidelines. The buyer cannot pay the realtor. So in the current setup and the situation, it's advantageous that the seller pays the realtor because the buyer doesn't pay the realtor. The VA is going to be forced to deal with this, but it's the only loan where there's going to be a problem. Everything else, they just change disclosures, when they disclose, how they pay people. This already exists. See, if you're not in the industry, you don't know that sometimes a listing agent will take a 4% listing, 3% in their pocket, 1% to the buyer's agent, and they'll disclose it in the MLS. So the buyer's agents go, hey, listen, I would like to show you that, but it's only 1%, so I'm going to skip that one and move on. Does that happen? It happens all the time. Not pretty, but it is the real world. And that's part of what this lawsuit is designed to solve. So there's going to be a whole lot of turmoil. Make sure you have a good broker. A good broker. And once we get through this, I think you're going to find out it's pretty much the same.
Yeah, Karen DeZal is back with an answer. Home inspection and title report. Anytime a seller does an inspection like termite or roof, those reports are disclosable. So there's a piece for you guys. I told you we have awesome agents we can hook you up with.
Yeah, we do.
Jackson just got in last August. Was curious about your perspectives. Thank you for sharing. You're welcome, man.
You're welcome.
Cool Your Brews back in the house.
Cool Your Brews. What's up?
If you were in our position as interested buyers, would you jump into buying a home in this market?
Yes, absolutely. Cool Your Brews. And I'll tell you why. Here's why. Because I know what's going to happen. I've been through it. I've been through these cycles many times. When interest rates finally do start coming down, are they going to come down? Well, according to the Federal Reserve, this is the Federal Reserve's report, and you can get this on the FOMC website. Who is the Federal Reserve? This is Jerome Powell. He's the chairman of the Federal Reserve, and these are the board members of the Federal Reserve. Now, they're very, 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 very smart people, and they understand that they control our economy. Currently, they're at a consensus at 5.25 to 5.5% Fed funds rate. That's where we're at. Now, next month or next time they meet, they're not at a consensus. They're all across the board. The majority of them are showing down, but they do come to a consensus around the end of 26, beginning of 27, at the Fed funds rate at 2.5%. These are the smartest people out there. So, what that mean? That means that the rates are going to go down. They're not going to go down in a perfect straight line. Nothing works that way. But they're going to go down. And when they go down, there is pent-up demand out there. Pent-up demand is, let's say, 30,000 people this month, want to go buy a house. 30,000, that's a lot. But the interest rates are 7 and 8. So they're like, yeah, that's a little high. I'm going to wait. So that's been happening for about 18 to 24 months. There's pent-up demand. So as soon as Fed funds rate actually starts coming down, that pent-up demand, a portion is going to enter the market every time it goes down. And every time there's more buyers, prices go up. So even though interest rates are horrible, they're horrible. They're the worst they've been in 22 years. Horrible. It's still a buyer's market if the buyer can afford it. If the buyer can afford it, this is the best time to buy. Not to keep the interest rate, no question. I tell everybody, hey, if you're buying a house right now, you're not thinking, maybe I'll refinance down the road. No, it's not even a thought. I am going to refinance. There's no question. So all I'm going to do is plan the strategic refinance so that when I refinance, my purchase price is set, and now I've got the interest rate that I want, and that's how you hack the system.
Holy cow. Joel said looking to purchase in August. You know what that means?
That means you need a badass loan.
Time for a commercial.
If you need a badass loan, call a badass loan officer. You can reach your badass loan officers, Chris and Lee, at New American Funding by dialing the numbers on the screen. Don't dial it right now because we are live on our phones and we will not answer. But after we're done live, call us and we will talk you through the whole process. This will disappear in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And if you're ready to get started, just go to the link in the bio, click on apply for a home loan now, and we will call you once you've filled everything out.
Big chunka hunka. What are you wearing?
Ooh,
I
me
love it.
or him?
No, I think it's me. It's me. Hey, check this. I'm
course
going to
it's
piss
you.
you off.
Of course
Chunka
it's
hunka. The cufflinks match the pattern on the custom-made shirt out of New York.
You still didn't
That's
answer
what I'm
him.
wearing. Yeah.
Still didn't answer him. What are you wearing?
Dude.
A shirt.
Dude. Yeah.
Tony,
It's called Giorgenti. It's a designer out of New York.
do you feel good about putting someone in a home with 3% down and a DTI of 40 to 45%?
Oh, Tony. All day, every day. All day, every day. Every day. But I will tell you this. If you're putting somebody in a home with 3% down, you slim down the loan packages. And the loan packages are only two, Home Ready and Home Possible, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. Those are the only two with 3% down. FHA's 3.5% down. And if you didn't go Home Possible or Home Ready, it's 5% down. And your DTI of 40 to 45 is right in line. So, yeah, of course I feel good.
Yeah. Also, so if you want to be more conservative, let's say you live in California, okay? You want to be more conservative, you have to move out of states pretty much in order to get something more conservative, but you're going to have to get another job likely. You won't be making the same amount of money, so you really don't have a lot of options. So you got to factor that in
Well, you
too.
got activity there. We have an activity on that platform for a while.
Nani! If you have bad credit but own 2 houses from inheritance, can I buy a house as a first-time buyer?
Nanny. Bad news, good news. Bad news, no. Good news, if your new house is a primary residence, you may be able to go FHA 3.5% down. So the bad news is no, because first-time home buyer is an absolute, it's a program. And that's Home Ready and Home Possible, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. So that does not mean you cannot go 3.5% down, and that's the common misnomer out there. A lot of people think, well, my first-time homebuyer lets me do 3.5% down. No, FHA lets you do 3.5% down if it's your primary residence. Now, if you inherited both of these homes and they happen to be rentals and they're deriving you income or you're deriving income from them, well, then those are investment properties by definition. They're creating income. We factor that in, and you're buying your new primary residence. But the technical reason why it becomes a first-time home is that you have not owned a home in the last 3 years. If you're on the title and you inherited the home, you own a home.
Yeah, Karen is all back with good data. Title report will show liens or judgments against the property. More good information from a great agent that we actually work with.
Yep.
Dan Demand, seasoned investor here. That's the bank
Appreciate
statement guy.
you. Appreciate you, Dan the man. Yes, if you're a seasoned investor and you understand what you're getting into, I'm a fan of bank statement programs. I'm also a fan of DSCR, but I'm not a fan of it for people who do not know what they're doing because they'll bite you. There's a lot of, I got this one guy who called me. He says, hey, I'm in a DSCR loan. I need to get out, so I want to put it into a Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac. I'm like, there's no possible way with what you have here. You're going to do that. It's just not going to happen. It's not happening. People get themselves caught a lot.
Yeah, we're going to get to every single one of your questions, so hang in there and load up that chat box. We're going to help everybody. If your loan officer give us a scenario, we'll help you too. Someone with no name but a, black picture. Can a first home buyer rent it to Section 8 in NYC?
Can a first home buyer? Okay, so if you own the home and you bought it and you didn't use a special program, you could do whatever you want with it. You could do whatever you want with it. Now, if you're saying, can I go FHA? FHA requires that it is your primary residence and that you live in it for 1 year. If you're going USDA, USDA requires primary residence, live in it for 1 year. VA, primary residence, live in it for 1 year. If you paid cash for it, you do whatever you want. Rent it to a Section 8 if you want. If you paid conventional, I'd highly recommend you do not create the big mortgage F word. Highly recommend that. That would be 20% down for a rental property. Now, there is a hack. And the hack is if you get a 4-unit and you live in the biggest of the 4 units and you meet the acid test, you can rent out the other 3 to whomever you want. Section 8's irrelevant. You can rent it to a renter, rent it to anybody. Section 8's fine. Whatever you want to do, we don't care. as long as you meet the guideline. In that situation, you may be able to go 5% down Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac.
Oh, Eddie. Another silly Billy. You'll get him. You'll get it in a second. You'll have fun.
Okay, cool.
Have fun.
All right, good.
I don't know. Something Cole 3. What loan has the best interest rate?
That's a good question. The best interest rate of all of them on paper is going to be a 15-year 6%, but the MI on that is going to push it way past 6.5 unless you got 800 FICO score. If you got an 800 FICO score, you might be able to compete. Maybe compete. Only compete, not beat. A VA 6.25. Why? Because there is no MI on a VA 6.25. Wait, what? No MI on a VA 6.25. On an FHA 6.25, there's going to be a 0.55, which is going to give you a net interest rate of about 6.755. That's going to be about 6.755. That's your net effective interest rate on an FHA. So which is the best? VA, and then based on credit score.
Right. Rashawn, how does conventional beat FHA if FICO credit score is 800 plus?
Very good question, Rashawn. I'm about to give it to you. It's going to be a good one. You're going to like it. You're going to like it. You should sharpen your pencil. Get a backup pencil in case you need it.
Ooh.
Yeah, because it's going to be a good one. All right, Rashawn. When I price out a loan, I go, let's just say I'm going conventional. And you have a 622 FICO, just barely making it, okay? And you're doing less than 20% down, you're doing 5% down. Okay, all right, cool. Now, if it's less than 20% down, I must put mortgage insurance on there. The mortgage insurance, I must shop it. When I shop it, I put it into my computer system, and they give me 10 different competing companies that will give MI. And if you have a 622 FICO, the other day I pulled one with a 2.97 MI. Insane. Ridiculous. I'll give you numbers in a second what that means. Okay? So 2.97 MI. But if I flipped you to FHA at 622 FICO, I could get a 0.55 MI. So the difference is 2.97 versus 0.55. What does that mean in math? In math, that means 0.55 is about $300. 2.97 is about $900 extra a month that you have to pay to ensure you do not default on the lender. That's mortgage insurance. Now, if you have an 800 FICO and I price that same MI, I could come in at 0.21. 0.21 is less than 0.55. So instead of paying $300 a month, you pay $198 a month because your FICO score is so good, it factors in. And when I put them head to head, if you have a 622 FICO, FHA wins all day long. If you have an 800 FICO, conventional wins all day long. If you're in the 720 to 780, they compete. Anything less than 720, FHA. Anything above 780, conventional. That's how.
Right on.
Do you agree with all that?
I do, man. You know a thing or two.
I do once or twice.
Jay Viss heard NAF is the worst place to get a loan. Is that true?
Jay Viss, we love you. Dude, we love you. We love you. NAF, yeah, NAF.
He loves you.
NAF is the worst place to get a loan. So so here's two parts to this. One is the originator. The originator is the loan officer and the bank they work for. We work for a bank, New American Funding. But New American Funding doesn't just push their own product. They do push their own product, which means they're lending with their own money, but they also push Wells Fargo's product, AmeriHome, which is this up-and-coming bank that's huge. But let's just go with Wells Fargo. It's the biggest. I can get you a Wells Fargo loan. You may not like NAF. That's fine. You don't have to. You don't have to. But if you said, hey, I will use you guys because you guys are amazing. You have amazing knowledge, but I want a Wells Fargo loan. I'll be cool. I'll lock with Wells Fargo. Your bank, your loan is now with Wells Fargo. But Jay Viss, I appreciate the sentiment.
Yeah, and let me add to that. I want to add to that. So I'm not going to defend NAF, but I am going to say that we choose to work here because they're direct lenders, which means they follow the Fannie, Freddie, FHA, VA, USDA direct guidelines with no overlays. So with that being said, it's probably an easier place to get a loan as long as the loan officer is doing their due diligence.
Yeah.
So there's that.
And we can broker. I mean, we're a direct lender, but we can broker, and we do sometimes. I'm sending a lot of loans right now to AmeriHome. That's it, right? AmeriHome. Mm-hmm. I'm sending a lot to AmeriHome because for some reason their rates are just smoking everybody. Mm-hmm. I don't get it, but when I price it, I'm like, hey, Mr. Borrower, I gotta let you know that your par rate is called 6.5, but I can get you a 6.25 at AmeriHome. We won't service the loan. We'll be packaging it off. They're a perfectly good lender. You choose. It's a difference between $150 a month in payment. They're like, what'll it cost me? Nothing. Just you're not going to be at NAF. That's all. They're like, cool. What would you do? I said, I take the AmeriHome. And that's the reality of it.
Andrea Montanez. Hi, guys from Jersey. Did I make it on time for the live?
You did, Andrea. It's
welcome.
Great to see you. We welcome you to our live. Any questions? Send them out here. We'll help you out.
I think it's an alien head with no
I guess
name.
so.
My first home have a 4-unit house. Can I live in one and rent out others? Section 8 in NYC.
I think we answered that. Yeah, we answered that.
He added the 4 units.
4-unit. If it's a 4-unit, no. Here's a magic line. We go to loan officer school, loan officer training, and everything, and it goes from 1 to 4 units. Once you break into 5, you're commercial. So 1 to 4 units is treated the same, conventional conforming. The only difference is your limits go up dramatically. There is an acid test. The acid test is you must pay more than 25% of the mortgage for your 1 unit. And then the other 3 can cover up to 75 or less of the mortgage. So there's an acid test. A lot of loan officers don't know about it. But as long as you meet that acid test, you're good.
Tony Bradford, what's stopping the MLS, multiple listing service, from selling 3 to 6 month subscriptions to give buyers access to listings?
Nothing. And you don't even, it's nothing. You can actually buy it. There's something called, I forget. It'll come to me. But you actually subscribe to their service and the IDX. So all you do is you subscribe to the service. You can plug your software into their software and they can give you what's going on in there. Now, it's a little more complicated for legal reasons and blah, 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 blah. But you can have access to it. But most realtors will give it to you for free because they're trying to earn your business. Like, literally give it to you for free. Don't use a realtor, though. I mean, don't use them and not
use them.
Use them. Yeah, that's it.
Don't waste their time. Ari, any good broker recommendations in Eugene, Oregon?
Broker, are you talking about real estate agent or are you talking about loan officer? If you're talking about loan officer, that's your guy in Eugene, Oregon. He's your guy in Eugene, Oregon. He will do your loan in Eugene, Oregon. If you need a realtor in Eugene, Oregon, we can get you one.
And or a broker to work for. Are you an agent?
Yeah, if you're an agent, there's some good ones out there. I watch people jump from Keller Williams to this person to that person, Century 21. Oh my God, there's this. Oh, Real. Oh God, what's the one that's multi-level marketing a lot of people are at? EXP. Oh, I'm going to be a billionaire, trillionaire by next week because I'm going to get all the people I know to go to EXP. I watch this happen over and over and over. I watch it all the time, and people call me and ask me for advice, and I'm like, I give them honest advice. And it's the same thing as I give a loan officer. Like, hey, I'm going to go to this bank. I'm going to go to that bank. I'm going to do this bank. I'm going to go to that bank. Hey, listen, here's the thing you need to know. Find one. Just find one that's reputable and strong and build you. Because once you're the value, everybody wants you. Everybody. We get calls all the time. People are saying, hey, we'll triple your commission. They literally can, but I won't have clients because I'm going to put them in very high interest rate loans. So once you're the value, then everybody wants you. So you work on you becoming the value.
Yeah, like Jennifer Lopez.
Yep. What?
Tony Bradford, do we need legislation to keep private equity institutional buyers out of the single-family resident market? Great question.
Tony.
I like that.
I do too, but I'm stuck on that one. I'm stuck.
It's tough.
I do not like that BlackRock is buying up most of our houses. And they will tell you in their public dissemination, they're not. Because they can hide behind what's called plausible deniability. They don't go out and buy it themselves. BlackRock doesn't say, hey, I'll take those 10 houses. No, there's a small company. I'm actually met with a guy who's buying up, building little tiny houses all across California with the exit strategy of selling it to BlackRock. So he sets up ABC Company. They own 700 houses. BlackRock just says, hey, I think I'd like to acquire ABC Company. Now, BlackRock owns all 700 houses, and the guy I met with makes a fortune on the way out. So can BlackRock legitimately say, we're not going after single family houses? They're not. They're going after the corporations that own the single family houses, but they're lying to you and telling you the truth in the exact same sentence. What? Now, do I have a problem with that? Kinda yeah, kinda no. The kinda yeah is because you're screwing the average man from buying a house. The kinda no is, we live in America and it's a free market economy, and these guys have built up a lot of money, and the minute we start saying, hey, you can't do this, then the line gets moved, and you can't do that, and you can't do this, and you can't do that. So I'm torn on that one. I'm like legitimately torn, because I see the people that can't buy the house, and I wish they could. And I watch what's happening, and I'm sophisticated enough to know what the hell they're doing, and I think it's downright evil. But is it illegal? That's the big question.
All right, Sam from New York. How can I buy my first house? I make $135,000 for the last 2 years. Easy, Sam.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah. Call him.
That's it.
Yeah, call him.
That's
right here. Just call him.
Actually, text me right now, and I'll give you a buzz as soon as we're done here.
Yep.
All y'all.
Yep.
All y'all.
So yeah, you're cracking 580, 600, and depending on what part of New York, you can get something. I was working on properties in New York, $1 million like everywhere. Everything's $1 million in New York. Everything.
Even Long Island.
Yep.
Estrella, same answer to you. When can I call you? You're going to screenshot this right now. I'm going to hold it up for a couple more seconds for the millions and millions of the fans, and then I'm going to drop it. Just text us right now. I'll call you when we're done.
Cool.
KDZ, Arizona, baby.
KDZ is a badass realtor in Arizona. She also works in California.
It's a jet setter.
Arizona, California. Where are you at? I don't know. Today I'm in Arizona. Today I'm in California. I'm closing deals all over the place. That's what I know. Yeah. KDZ, we recommend you when we can.
Good real estate values in Arizona. Very good. Let's see what we got here. Something K. Smith, buying my dad's house with a gift of equity. Okay.
That's good. Yeah.
Congrats.
We deal with those often. Gift of equity is a very strange animal because in the perfect world, it's a smooth transaction, but almost always during that gift of equity, someone's like, hey, my dad's giving me a $200,000 house. Can I get $400,000 cash out in the process? I'm like, the math doesn't work. Wait a minute. Yeah, happens like that.
What? Just like that?
Like that.
Okay, Sam said I have 7 into 30. Don't know what that means.
Mm-hmm.
School. Don't know what that means. 730 score. Good score, man. Great score. Teddy Thorpe. Is it possible to owner-occupied loan for my second loan 5% down? Have an FHA on a quadplex already. Teddy, man.
Teddy Thorpe.
Teddy right.
Thorpe. Look at you building a real estate empire. Teddy Thorpe. Is it possible to owner-occupy for my second loan? If you are going to, first off, you have to meet your FHA requirement on your quadplex already. So the FHA requirement is probably going to be, you have to live there for 1 year. That's probably going to be it. And then you check that box and you're like, cool, yes. Now what you're asking is, can I go buy a Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac as my new property? And here's going to be the catch. The simple answer is yes, you can, but there is a catch in this. And the catch is, okay, why? Because you're going to have to go through an underwriter. And the underwriter is going to go, wait a minute, your quadplex is here and your new one is here. It's only half a mile away. Okay, something sounds fishy and there could be higher risk in this loan. So because of that, they'll scrutinize it a lot. But by the numbers, yes, you can.
That's the game. Athena, as an underwriter, they were 100% correct. I would apply today. It's getting busy.
I appreciate you, Athena. We're always
hearts.
fun. Always,
hearts out to you.
Here's the heart. We can't heart because if we heart it up, I don't know, whatever they do to us. But we appreciate you, Athena. Occasionally we get an underwriter on here. We're very honored to have you here. Occasionally we get some great realtors. Honored to have you. Occasionally we get loan officers. Hey, we're here. Even though you're our competitor, we're wishing you well. We'll help you. Ask us any questions. We'll help you out. So we are here for all of you guys.
And can you guys all please give us a bunch of hearts? We want to see how many we can get today. Mm-hmm. Nico Elijah. I have an FHA, but been over a year since closing. Can I qualify for a 5% down conventional loan?
So, Nico, here's the thing I would do for you. If you came to us, which I'm hoping you will, if you come to us, I'm going to send you through full TBD underwrite. Why? Because I want an underwriter's eyes on this, because they're going to put a whole different set of layers on things. They're going to go, okay, cool. Let me see all the renters' contracts. Let me do what's called rent-a-meter or whatever your underwriter uses to find out what the fair market rent is for that area. Let me check the loan to value, because there's something that's going to kick in, and that's going to be reserves. That's a big one, reserves. Because if you're underwater and you don't have the amount of income in order to cover this or the assets to cover it, you're not going to get qualified. So I'd send you through a TBD underwrite. There's also one more requirement. And the other requirement is there must be an LTV benefit, usually 80%, sometimes 85%, but usually 80% in order for you to do this on the second one.
Yeah, all right. So you're going to want to know what the temperature is in the fantasy land that Eddie lives in.
All right, cool.
Property is always never owned in America.
Oh, I love you, Eddie.
Hardly
Imperial.
true.
Yeah,
Hardly
kind of true. Eddie, I'm going to come to your defense, and I'm going to say property is always never owned in America. Okay, so never say never. Always say always. Wait a minute. What? Never mind. Anyway, so if you think you own your property, try not paying your property tax bill for 3 years and watch what happens. You will lose it. You will lose it. You will lose it. Even if you paid for the improvement and the real estate, unfortunately, in our system, in our world, you must pay property taxes. So that's my defense for you, Eddie.
Yeah. User 07734-660 credit score, middle score. What's your OPN?
Okay, so opinion, I think 660. I think my opinion is you should get started right now.
Yep.
Like right now, today. Do not hesitate. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Go straight to the link at the top of our bio and apply. Send all the documents in. Let's find out where you're at and let's get you the house.
Wow. Christian Noel back in the house. What is the minimum credit score needed for a conventional loan?
Christian Noel, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, 620. 620 is just where you start qualifying. It's not ideal. People are like, hey, 620, I heard you guys are giving out 6% interest rates. If you have an 800 FICO score, you might get a 6% interest rate. But if you have a 622, there's going to be problems because that's not a great score for buying a house. It's barely above qualifying. Because it's above qualifying, it triggers all these other things, and you're a high risk to a bank. Remember that all banks blend on one simple premise. How risky is this loan? The more money you put in, the less risky the bank. The less money you put in, the more risky for the bank. The higher your FICO, less risky. Lower your FICO, more risky. In the game.
Eddie Imperial's back. Mortgages are always fraud. You will never
Oh,
own.
Eddie Imperial, I love you, man. Duh, I dig these people who come out here like, hey, I'm a conscientious objector. Hey, I'm a sovereign citizen. I love these guys. I get these guys are like, sovereign citizen, I don't recognize your authority to pull me over doing 85 and a 55. I am a human being traveling on a road. I am not driving. I'm like, this is insane. I do not recognize those handcuffs on my wrist. I do not recognize these bars that I'm behind. Your Honor, I do not recognize your authority to send me to jail.
What about Bubba standing behind you?
It's hilarious,
You
man.
recognize him?
It's hilarious. Eddie, you might be right, but don't if you really believe that, so simple in America, don't get a mortgage. So simple for you. You get to choose whatever you want to do, man. This is a strange country, man. If you want to cut off your own appendages, you can. This is a country where they allow that stuff.
Nice. 281, Matthew, does IRS debt affect your debt to income ratio?
Not only does it affect it, it affects it a lot. A lot. Because the highest debt in our system is IRS debt. It's taxes. It's the highest debt. It supersedes mortgages. It supersedes child support. It supersedes everything. So, that being said, it does not disqualify you. It just means that we have to factor it in. And once we factor it in, we proceed. And we get people houses with IRS debts all the time.
Yeah, Barbara Philibert said, wow.
Yeah, wow. We appreciate you, Barbara. I don't know what you're wowing about, but we thank you.
Teddy Thorpe told Elijah, I think it's possible from new conventional loan rule from November 2023. Cool.
Yeah, that's the 5% down rule where they, he said, oh, Teddy, that means that somebody's a loan officer in here. We appreciate you, Teddy Thorpe. Yeah, you're talking about the 5%. For a while there, the loan officers are running around with the flag going, hey, you could do 5% down. You could do 5% down on a conventional 4-unit. I'm like, you could have always used just a different program. So, yeah, you can on this one. But before you get too happy, that's like, hey, I just invented the car. I just invented the car. Yeah, so did Ford probably 50 years ago. But good for you, man. It's not bad.
Over 100 years, man.
Yeah, no, 100 years ago.
Nidge Withley. I live in Chicago suburbs. I want to buy my first house. How much do I have to put down?
Okay, so Nidge Withy, listen. Sometimes zero. Ideally, 3.5% down for an FHA. Maybe 3% for Home Possible if it's actually your first home. Maybe 3% for Home Ready if it's actually your first home. Ideally, 3.5%, sometimes zero.
All right. Eddie Imperial's back. Futile title you will never own because it belongs to England.
Oh,
the
Eddie.
Queen.
Eddie.
All hail the
No,
Queen.
there's no Queen.
Oh,
Queen's
King.
dead, yes. We have a king.
Hail the King.
Yeah, Eddie. Dig guys like you, man. I dig guys like you. Teddy Thorpe. I'm hopefully that's the case and we can both benefit from the new rule.
Yeah.
Correct. I agree.
Nidge Wifely said 350K home.
Is that the zero down? I think so.
Yeah,
Zero down.
The one that said how
So
much to put down.
350K down. So if you're doing a $350,000 house, if you use the zero down program, you could probably get away with zero. If not, probably need somewhere in about $12,000 down. It's $350,000 times 3.5%. Give you the exact amount. And now, Withy, there's another thing you should know about. There's something called closing costs. Closing costs on a $350,000 house in most areas are going to run you $8,000 to $10,000. What? $8,000 to $10,000? Why? Because property taxes, because insurance, because the first year of impounds, all of these things that actually kick in, probably $8,000 to $10,000. But here's the good news: in this market, anybody can pay for it. And many times the sellers are paying for it if you've got a great realtor.
Yeah.
What do we got? Dude, you just...
I lost it, man.
No. I think you lost it.
We're way down here. Here it is.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Closing on selling my house in a few days. I want to get a new build 6 months to complete. Help!
User 6213. 6213. Okay, so I'm going to give you some advice on new builds. And this is probably not going to go over very well for the new build people that are in this chat, because it's not going to be very favorable, but it's the truth. So, new builds kind of screw over the buyer in a lot of ways. Not one, a lot of ways. I'm going to give it to you, okay? So, there's a lot of money in a real estate transaction. A lot of money. So, on a $500,000 house, there's a 3% side for the listing agent, 3% side for the buyer's agent. So that's 6%. Most people know this, and it cuts up different ways. We just call it 3% and 3%. So that's, how much is on a $500,000 house? That's $30,000. $30,000. So what the new build does is they hire a captive real estate agent, and they try and get you not to bring in your own agent. Why? Because they can use their captive real estate agent, which they don't pay that full $30,000 to. They pay him a salary, and then maybe a little bit of commission. But they pay, so they get to keep $30,000. A lot of people don't know this. There's also two sides to the loan business. In the loan business, there's the front side, which is the loan officer in the bank that gets you the loan. That's us. That's what we do, front side. Let's just say 3% for that. And there's the back side. The back side is when you sell off the servicing rights. And that can go as high as 7%, but let's just say 3%. So there's $30,000 on the front end of the loan and $30,000, on the front end of the transaction and $30,000 on the loan side. If they can get you not to bring in your realtor and use their realtor, and not to bring in your lender and use their lender, well, then they keep all 60 grand. Is that good for them? Oh, you better believe it's good for them. Because they're selling that $500,000 house, they put $400,000, they make $100,000 in profit, and then they get $60,000 in commissions. But that's not it. They're not done. They sneakily help, they kind of jabbed at you. Why? Because there's a nice park in this new build. It's beautiful. It's an amazing park and a swimming pool. Now, what they could have done is they could have paid for it in the whole build situation. Instead, what they did is they said, hey, you know what? Let's put out a bond. We'll get all the residents to approve the bond. There's nobody living there. They're the only resident. So all the residents to approve the bond, and we'll build it in the tax base. So when their neighbor, who's not in the new build, gets a 1.25 tax base, you're sitting at a 2.4 tax base, and you don't even know you paid for the park and the pool in your payment. It will go away in about 10 years, good news. But until then, they did this, and that's only the beginning of it. So, help, have a good realtor, bring your own loan officer.
All right. Do you do loans in Rhode Island?
Yes, we do, Rhode Island.
Do you do loans in Texas?
Yes, we do Texas.
What about Kentucky?
How many times do I have to tell you? All 50 states, man.
How many?
All 50.
Say it again.
All 50.
All right, I love it. Christian Noel, what's the minimum credit score needed for against a loan? I already answered
We did that one, yep.
Already answered that one. Dude, you got a lot.
We got a lot of
questions
questions coming in.
today,
This is
guys.
great, man. We appreciate you guys. Thanks for the knowledge, Jen. Joel, we are here for you.
Miss Jasmine, thank you for the love. Eddie Imperial, over that 30 years divorce, HOA marriage will ruin most men. Maybe.
You know what? That HOA, dude, they got that Paul Blart, the mall guy. What is his name? Yeah. Paul Blart. Oh, there's that one guy going, hey, listen, don't worry about it. I'm on it. I'm about to fine them for putting the radio too loud. I'm going to write them a ticket right now. I did it. I'm a boss.
Futile is never owned title. Only Ulladulla is a God title. Cars you never own.
All right, Eddie, man, coming at it. Let's go, Eddie. Come on.
Loan officers are likely crown agents and enemies of the state.
Maybe, dude, we could be the enemies. Oh my God, don't make a phone call.
Oh. Yeah. Jazz from Texas,
what's up in Texas, Jasmine?
Right. Shauna and David, Kansas, looking to buy a modular home on 6 acres. Harder to get a loan on modular?
You take that one.
The answer is not if everything's done right. Okay, and here's what I mean by that. So you need to be purchasing the land, which you will be if it's on 6 acres, not renting the land. Cannot rent the land. Cannot be in a mobile home park where you rent. Okay, must be on a permanent foundation, meaning it's anchored to the earth. It is not on wheels that you can drag away with a truck. And that's about it. We used to have a double wide rule. No longer need that.
What?
We can do single wide.
What?
Single wide. We can even do it on the second home.
What?
This is stuff that we couldn't do in the past, guys. So the answer is, as long as those things are checked, Shauna and David, easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
Wow. Has to be attached to the ground by a 433 in engineering cert, but everything else he's saying is dead on.
Jasmine, if both me and my husband are looking to buy a home, how do they use both our credit score and my credit?
So, Jasmine, the old school way, and this is the way that most still do it. We pull borrower number 1, 3 credit scores. Get rid of the high, get rid of the low, keep the middle. That's called your operating FICO. The co-borrower, husband or wife, same thing. Pull all 3 credit scores, get rid of the high, get rid of the low, keep the middle. The lower of the 2 is the operating FICO score for the file. However, there is a situation called blended credit. Blended credit, I can take the lower and the higher, throw them in a pile, come out with something in the middle, and use a blended credit score, but your loan officer must know how to do it.
Yeah, Jasmine from Texas. I like that. Good luck, folks. You're done.
I appreciate you, Eddie.
Teddy Thorpe.
I've been hearing that for 30 years.
Is zoning the issue with expensive houses or corporate greed, or in between?
I don't think it's just corporate greed. I think it's greed overall, because every seller wants as much for that house as they can possibly get. They want to not fix things on the way out, but they are forced to fix things. So the system makes them fix it. I can't count how many times someone wants to walk on a bad roof, but it gets caught in a home inspection or an appraisal, and we got to fix that roof. But the seller never wants to. They never have enough money. There's not enough money in the net sheet. That's what they always tell me, but it always works its way out. Yeah. So is zoning the issue with expensive houses or corporate greed or in between? I think it's all of the above. I think it is corporate greed. I think it's individual greed. I think it's our natural, innate desire to do better. Hey, Navy Mom Donna's in the house. What's up, Navy Mom Donna? I haven't seen you in a while. Great to see you here. If you have any questions, I am here to help you.
All right, Eddie Imperial and Roxy starting to line up. They poison your food too.
I agree with you, Eddie.
Yeah,
I agree, dude. I agree, Eddie. Everything you're saying, I agree. I just agree from probably a different perspective because I know that if you put me in that arena with a lion, and I'm nice to that lion will eat me. So I am only nice to him as much as I have to be because if I need to, I will take him out.
He's gonna fight a lion. He's gonna fight a lion.
I'm gonna sell tickets.
Oh, you're gonna sell.
You're gonna
a
need
lot
a new
of
partner.
Well, you're not gonna be able to spend the money.
You're gonna need a new partner.
You're gonna sell me a lot of tickets.
You're gonna need a new partner.
Shauna and David, yes, Kansas, absolutely, all 50
Yes.
states. Buying in Mexico, that is not a state unless it's the new one.
Yeah, New Mexico, we got you all day long. Old Mexico, no can do.
Eddie Imperial says McDonald's has human meat in their burgers. Fine young cannibalism future.
Yeah, you can't talk like that on our feed, Eddie. You can't talk like that on our
I don't
feed.
eat McDonald's, but you're making it easier not to.
Yeah. I don't eat McDonald's
Lizzie
either
Liz
because
from
it's
SoCal.
insane. Yeah.
SoCal, that's where we're at. Lizzie Liz, we're in Riverside, California. Come
Yeah.
visit. Shauna and David, thank you for the love.
We appreciate you. You guys are so lucky. I do you know what, Eddie?
I guess so.
I don't know if luck is it, but I think part of it is luck. Part of it is hard work. And Henry Ford said, the harder I work, the luckier I get. I believe that.
Donna Bradley, CIA did it. CIA did it.
I think so. I think Donna Bradley. I'd say Donna Bradley because there's other Donnas here. Hey, listen, I didn't believe that all the way. I didn't think that there was a lot to this until this. Orange Man, when he was in office, I have to say Orange Man because they'll hurt me if I say something else. But Orange Man, when he was in office, he ran on the campaign. He says, hey, listen, I will release all the notes. All the notes. When he was in, he didn't. He redacted a lot still. And Judge Napolitano, I don't know if you know him, but his guy I follow, Judge Napolitano, said, hey, I'm a friend of Orange Man. And I asked him, why didn't you release everything? And Orange Man said to Judge Knapp, he says, if you would have seen what was in there, you wouldn't have released it either. And that scared me more than anything. So I think you're right, Doug Bradley.
In the words of George Herbert Walker Bush.
What?
Not gonna do it.
Not gonna do
it.
Wouldn't be prudent at this venture.
Eddie Imperial, nail up the back doors, guys. Make sure your DNA tests, folks.
All right, Eddie, dude, we dig people like you, man. We do. We always wonder why you don't actually put your full name out there because we do. See, this right here says Chris and Lee, and our website right there. My name's Lee Duran, NMLS 944254. You could visit me right now, Riverside, California. This is what's your name?
Hey, don't worry about me, bro.
Dude, what's your NMLS?
That's Chris Dominguez, 1066958.
You could visit us, both of us.
El Oso, should I refinance my vehicle after I purchase a home?
El Oso, you should talk with your loan officer first. If you don't have one, call us. We're here for you. But here's the thing. If you refinance to get a lower payment or a lower interest rate. In this environment, you're probably not trying to get a lower interest rate. Probably trying to get a lower payment. If you need to do it to get the house, you should do it before. If you need that buying power. So call us.
All right, Lizzie Liz, I'm in the same boat. I bought a single-family home in Las Vegas in 2021.
All right, good.
Maddie Boo in the house. How you been? Why would a seller's realtor lie about passing village inspection?
Why would a seller's realtor? Well, Maddie Boo. Here's an ugly part of life. It's an ugly part of life. If somebody's in it for a commission, they have the ability to enact what's called plausible deniability. I didn't know about this. I don't want to know. I'm not going to ask about this. I've seen way too many realtors do it. If you have a good realtor, they understand it. They disclose it because they have to, and they plan on being in the game a long time. But brand new realtors try to use what's called plausible deniability. I didn't know. The seller didn't tell me all the time.
Yeah, Nico Elijah, thank you so much. And yes, I will be reaching out with you all.
I appreciate you, Nico.
All right, here we go again. Eddie Imperial. Actually, the government's supposed to pay all your debts. HJR 192.
Eddie, man, I'll tell you what, sure, I'm glad you're on watch, man, because if not, the U.S. would have fallen a long time ago. Appreciate you being on that wall.
Mama Goose, if I pay off my credit cards, will it help improve my lending approval for VA loans?
Sometimes yes and sometimes no. Probably yes, though. You should check with your LO prior to that. If you're doing a VA loan, you really should have a good loan officer. That's a very important situation.
Yeah, Lizzie Liz, I want to buy in California with 5%. I have a rental in Vegas.
We want you to buy
like
in
it,
California.
Liz.
Yeah, that's a right way to start. Let's do it.
Joel, I'm moving in the wrong state, New Jersey. I'd like to move to Texas.
Joel, I think that's a good idea. My primary residence is in Texas.
I'm loving Florida.
Yeah, Florida's pretty good too, but I don't have a primary residence in
Why
Florida.
not?
I lived in Florida. I loved it.
Eddie Imperial, you can never get a property title. Oh, we already said
Yeah,
that.
we already did that. Cool.
Rhode
Rhode
Island.
Island. Yes, we do. Rhode Island. We'll help you. Banks
Okay,
can't
I'm
lend you
gonna
money.
skip
No, I like Eddie Imperial,
but we
man.
got so many
All right, you're
millions
right.
of
We got 26 on that one on that one app. We got 14 on that one and 12 on that. We're gonna try and get to all you guys. Here we go.
Henry, houses across the street on the market, 788,000. Mine shows 710 on Zillow. My house much cleaner.
Yeah, that happens all the time, man. It's there's a market. There's an actual market for things.
Marifer, do you think 2024 is a good time to buy a home and be building up businesses in California?
2024 is a good time to buy a home, building a business. We're in a real weird economy. Unless you have something that's like lightning, I don't know if it's such a good time to build a business.
Joel, a short, sweet answer would be greatly
All
appreciated.
right, cool. I don't know which one. I don't do those short, sweet answers, man. Let's we're on rapid fire.
Let me tell you about 1776. Napoldon. Can you take an FHA if you have an existing conventional mortgage? Good question.
That's a very good question. Napoldon, there's usually has to be a reason why, and you can't have another convention or an FHA, and most of the time, yeah, but there is an occasion where it's no. So most of the time, FHA, no problem at all. There is an occasion where it's no. We'd have to talk to you.
Darcy Lopez back in the house. Long time no see. Is it best to put your home in a trust?
If it's a living trust, I'm not giving you legal advice, by the way, Darcy. If it's a living trust, I highly recommend living trust. It's a family trust. Probably not, because you'll have transferred ownership to another entity, and you could trigger the due on sale clause.
All right. So, guys, do me a favor and screenshot this. I'll hold it up for a question.
Screenshot.
We have a lot of questions to go on.
We're about to go to rapid fire because we have been here for a very long time. We're about to answer all your questions rapid fire. So the guy who asked for a quick, sweet answer, this is your time.
We're talking to each other, talking to each other,
Yeah.
talking to each other.
No, let him talk. No, the government is a bond. Okay, cool. Teddy Thorpe, I have 70 credit. 216, 300. Conventional, good. Yes. Conventional is probably very good with 780 FICO. Don, 200K in the bank. I don't know what that means. Okay, cool. Comes to a credit score between me and my husband. He has the better score. Congratulations, but we can probably use blended credit. Thank you for your support. Eddie Imperial, we're here for you, man. Dan, on the FHA, Napolitan, they may need to answer that. Debt to income, maybe the only issue. How fast can a lender give you a clear to close? That's a good question. Depends on your lender. But there's a legal time frame. The fastest we can legally do it with all disclosures is?
Well, clear to close and actually closing are different.
Okay.
Clear to close, we can give it to you real fast. We can give it to you 24, 48, 72 hours. But actually closing is going to take you 7-8 days.
Yep. Cool. Have a good day, guys. I appreciate you. Come back, man. Loan
Eddie
officer,
is
lender,
wild.
but have to try to learn as much as
Christian
possible. Not loan officer, but trying to learn as much as possible. Chuck Kennedy, do you do blended credit with VA loan? Can we do that? I think so, right?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
We'll find out.
We'll find out. We're going to check the guidelines. I think my gut says maybe. Okay, cool.
All right, dude. I'm Chris Esley.
I appreciate you guys. We've been Chris and Lee. We are out.